Professor Eric Werden, the CEO of the renowned Buck Institute for Research on Aging in California. You got $21 million grant from the Evolution Foundation, and you are investing it also into big data research. What kind of research is it?
This was an amazing grant from Evolution that really allows us to take our research to a whole other level. So this whole idea of big data is the fact that the field of aging is relying or developing what we call biomarkers of aging, and these are data points that will allow you in the future to measure how well you're aging. Now, if you go to your doctor, he will draw blood. He will measure maybe 10 to 100 different things, your blood sugar, your cholesterol level, and so on. Today, with the technology that we have in the lab, in one blood draw, we can measure 100,000 different variables. So this is what we call big data. And so Evolution is helping us to study. Obviously, we get 100,000 different values. We don't know how to interpret it. And so the next few years, we're going to be trying to analyze this data and to identify novel markers that will allow us to say, at a given age, how healthy you are. And then to introduce an intervention and hopefully to change it. So that's the vision of a future of medicine.
And we would like to know whether there are now some biomarkers you think have a high validation.
None that are commercially available, even though you can probably buy some of these epigenetic clocks. They are very hard to interpret. They all give this slightly different values. I would say if you really are interested in measuring your biological age, the best way is to find a reputable clinic. There are some in Europe and in the US that are starting to use these tools to really measure your biological age, because we all have two different ages. We have the number of years that we've lived, chronological age, but some of us are aging slowly. That means our biological age is younger. Some of us are aging faster. And so what these clocks are allowing us to do is to determine where are you. Are you on a trajectory to live long or live short? And some of these clocks also allow you to determine when you are changing something in your lifestyle, whether you're doing better or doing worse. Now, they're available in the US mostly. I don't know really the European market. They will come in the near future. But I also argue to people that, in my opinion, these are not tools that are available, should be used by the general public without any understanding of what they mean. Because frankly, when I've used many of these clocks, my age varies from 25 to 68. And I'm not delusional. I don't think that I feel like a 25-year-old. So I don't know what that clock is measuring. So I think we're really at the beginning of an incredible movement where these tools will be available in the future. I would say within 5 years at your doctor. If you're looking to do it now, find someone who is actually a specialist in this area.
There is no biomarker measurement which is reliable now on the market. This is really disappointing.
Yes.
Okay. What will come? What will be the first biomarker which will really be a revolution in measurements?
First, there's not going to be one single one. Right now, we have some biomarkers that are based on glycomics, some based on proteomics, some based on metabolomics, some based on transcriptomics. I think what will emerge, some based on wearables. I think the wearables are going to be big. Think about your Oura Ring or your Whoop or these other wearables, or Apple Watch and so on. I predict those eventually in the future will become really critical in determining how well you're aging, especially with respect to your lifestyle. My prediction of what will happen in the future is that there will be a variety of these assays that will really allow you to paint a picture of your health. One area that I'm very excited is these new clocks that are based on proteomics that allow you to measure organ-specific aging. That's really, and those tools exist. So working with a new company that's helping to develop this will allow you to say, your heart is aging slower, your brain is aging at this rate. So because we all age in different ways, some of us have brain aging, some of us have heart aging, and so on. So identifying the organ where you have the fastest aging is going to be critical in the future. So a lot of development in this area right
This
now.
is Tony Viscaray with
Yes,
Teal.
exactly.
And they told us it will take 5 to 10 years.
I think it's
until
going to be faster. We actually, it's going to be much faster.
I'm happy personally.
Yes, yes.
Wearables. So you think they will be more and more important for really precise measurement. So what can we do to motivate the young generation to start with that very early?
So I think they are paying attention. And this is something that I find really exciting in the whole field. Our field is the fact that young people now are interested in their health. Maybe not all of them, but a lot more than when I was young. And I think that's going to be a radical, so health is becoming chic and cool. And I think, with the social media, all of these tools, I think we can really influence and we can accelerate this movement, because health, frankly, is a state of mind. If you don't pay attention, your body will go awry. And so the idea of becoming conscious about the effect of your action on what's going to happen 10 years, 20 years, that's the hardest thing for humans, is to project. You're 20, you can party, you can do everything you want, but realizing that all of these actions have consequences that you might have to pay 20, 30, 40 years down the line, it's hard for us to comprehend. And I think through education, through example, through all kinds of ways, we can really change the equation. But frankly, I see this already, and to me, it's one of the most exciting aspects of this whole equation.
And then they have to be on the right track, because an internet influencer are selling snake oil like hell. And how can we help young people who are really interested to get to a really reliable information?
Yeah. So my point is always, when someone posts or on influencers, is what was that person trying to sell you? So if they're trying to sell you, you can already question whether their motivations are pure or really your benefit. One thing that your audience should know is today there are no drugs and there are no supplements that are known to increase human lifespan. So whatever you read on the internet, maybe it's been done in mice, maybe it's been done in another organism, but in humans, there is nothing known in terms of the effect of these interventions. Now, I do take some supplements because I've convinced myself that some of them have some value, but I would say you need to get yourself, sort of as much information as possible. There are a lot of lies on the internet and a lot of exaggeration, and I think understanding, the difference between what is hype and what is real is a problem. And in some cases, some of the most visible people in the field are not necessarily the ones that are the most respected or have the most understanding of what the aging process is.
In the German-speaking market, they have to listen to my podcast.
Good. Oh, this is a right and authoritative source of information.
Will Brian Johnson help a little bit to force young people into really good and healthy life?
Yeah. So, I don't want to endorse or condemn what Brian Johnson is doing. It's his own life. I think he has the right to do whatever he wants. I'm not sure I would go about it the way he does, but what Brian has done is to create a lot of interest in what we're doing. So, I do worry about some of the things that he recommends. 120 supplements, for me, that's
also stem cells.
And stem cells and so on. So, yeah, so there's a lot of things that I certainly would not recommend. His talent has been to really create this movement of people who are interested in their own health. And, I really look at the aging space as a continuum. There are people like me who are more conservative and in some way more careful and more data-driven. And then there's Brian, who is an N of one. And my argument for what he's doing is it works very well for him. But it's in terms of this data, I'm not sure that if you take his regimen and you apply it to someone else, it's going to work as well. Now, again, he's selling supplements. So you can argue that, that's one of the motivations. So I would say, argue that people should really make their own opinion in terms of what they should be doing, and with the advice of a trained physician.
Yeah, and I think young people should know that measuring biomarkers is the first step.
Yes.
And then taking supplements, whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. My pleasure to be here.